I was like, I can't believe that happened. I'm like, my heart sank.
Oh, man.
But at the same time, I had a lot of meth in me, so I was also not afraid of anything. I'm like, a bull could have been chasing me. I probably would have tried to like ride it.
I don't know. That scared me. I wouldn't do it again.
That's
I
messed
think
up.
That was it.
I was awake for 6 days.
We had an experience
without sleeping. I could not sleep, and I was starting last few days. I was getting super irritable, and I would look at myself in the mirror, and everything would look wrong. Like I'd pick at my face because I'd see all these imperfections. I had like extreme OCD, is what it felt like, and then I would also I would see like it looked like my skin was turning real pale and purplish, but I couldn't tell if it was just me or if it was like real. And so
Probably
I asked my mom.
just you.
I asked my mom, and she said it looked fine, but I didn't know it looked fine. But I ain't slept in 6 days, so and I didn't eat the whole time either. I had like a snack or two.
We had an incident with a meth head.
I was not hungry.
Okay, so let's get going. We got my beautiful wife Amanda here helping us with the production side of things, and we appreciate you, honey. We're gonna have you on here soon. I'd love to have you on the podcast. And yeah, you can be in your heart pants, whatever pants you want to be on, just as long as she's got pants on,
I'm gonna come in my boxers next time.
No, thank you. I don't think.
Yeah,
They got flamingos on.
Nice.
I think I'm going to be sick
Nice.
that day.
Yeah, switch spots.
They're big enough to look like swim trunks. They don't look like
Double layer, just in case, please.
Yeah.
No one wants
Double
to
layer.
see your frog eye.
My what?
The what eye?
Your frog eye.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
No, that's a new one.
That sounds gross, though. Frog eye? I don't even understand.
man.
I've heard it called a lot of things. but I think-
Yeah, maybe I don't want to know.
Yeah, it's Christian podcast.
Yeah, come on, guys. We're already off to a bad
We're
start
Christian
here.
people.
I mean, we started off talking about meth, and now, I mean,
Well, he shared his story, so I have to share mine.
At least we're
Yeah.
saying we don't want to do that.
yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay.
In a very bad,
No, we
very
definitely
bad-
don't want
I
to do
don't
that.
suggest doing it.
Um,
Once
Born
was
again
enough.
Christian, yep.
We got our boy Damien back with us, Reagan, Uncle
Hello.
Dijon, and Zach.
Yep.
Yeah, back on the couch. Like I said, I got my wife Amanda back there hanging out with us, making sure that we're doing things like we're supposed to be doing.
We've had great dinner.
We had some good,
Yep.
Over said the what?
had some good skitty.
I couldn't handle that.
I feel so much better now that I ate.
So we had a request from the guys. They wanted to talk about Exodus, the book of Exodus, and what happened in the book of Exodus. And this is our first time kind of doing an episode like this, really, where I guess it's the second episode where we've just kind of talked, but the second one where we've actually like planned to talk about something, right?
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see where this goes and just have some fun getting into the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
There's some awesome stuff in the Bible, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Brainstorm it up.
Yeah. What'd you say earlier about the Bible? How it's like, it reads like fantasy, but
Oh. Hold on.
as he's chomping on an apple. Nom, nom, nom.
Sorry, it was like I had to get a fresh taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I can't well, that don't matter. it's like reading a fantasy book, or like all these different fantasy books, but it's real. So you read about these crazy things happening. And it's like, yeah, that's stuff that happens in movies and like fiction books, like of old, ancient, whenever, and like giants and crazy stuff like that. But the Bible,
But it actually
it's a little
happened.
different.
Yeah.
It's 66 different books of those, and they're all real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Personal accounts written from all different timelines. Somehow, well, we know how, perfectly merging together without missing a spot.
Yes.
It's like
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Amen.
There's no other way for that to be possible. It's not like they're like Moses was around to proofread like Matthew's handwriting, like whatever he was writing, or the other way around even.
It's a seamless account of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, 42 different authors, 66 different books, written over a period of 4,000 years, and it's all centered around one person, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Only God. Only God. They tried to destroy this book and get it out of existence many times,
Oh, yeah, they tried.
but couldn't do it.
He said, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will never pass away."
Amen.
Amen.
So go ahead and try.
Yeah.
I want to see how many times you can fail in one lifetime.
So who knows when, like around the time frame of when Exodus actually occurred? Like, let's get a historical context for our listeners. About in the backdrop of when it happened.
It was the Egyptian pharaoh not wanting to. Well, it was a little bit before that. There was one pharaoh before the pharaoh that didn't want to let the Israelites go.
Okay. Yeah. So you have.
Oh, I probably need to talk more louder.
That's all right. So you got Adam and Eve. Okay, first people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have, their kids, Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole...
murder.
Yeah, the first murder. All right. Then you have the Genesis 6 account where the earth gets completely horrible, which we have to do an episode about that, about what happened there.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun to talk
I
about.
love that.
So the earth became so corrupted, so evil, that God was due to destroy the whole earth. This is where the flood account comes in.
Not to mention, we weren't even the ones ruling the earth at that point. Like
Yeah,
we had no control over what was going on. It wasn't the humans. I mean, it was our fault.
There was some very powerful players at play.
Yep.
The Nephilim, that's right, the giants and the sons of God that came down from heaven. I mean, you're talking what they would call interdimensional beings today.
Crazy.
It's amazing. Like Genesis 6, check it out. Read it before we have an
I do
episode.
need to.
Yeah. All right. So, because like I said, we could get caught up on that real easy.
We'll come back to that.
All right. But there was a reason that God destroyed the earth. I mean, it was literally that bad. It was completely corrupt.
It's only
Everyone
gonna
was
get worse.
evil. Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Humans are going to
And
be wiped out regardless.
he saved us. He saved us by doing that because Noah, he was righteous. He saved Noah in the flood. And what's cool is, as you guys know, the flood account is written about in every culture, every tradition in the whole world. There's all these, flood, they call them myths or flood stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No matter what, like history, it's always about a great flood.
Yeah. But now they're calling it scientifically the Younger Dryas. Graham Hancock, he did a good, a documentary about this, and he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
There's evidence of geographically of floods. It's
Yup.
I thought that was so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I have apple stuck in my
So then you got Noah. All right, a family survives the flood. They have children. They ended up giving birth to Abraham. Abraham gives birth to Isaac, and then Jacob. Right? You've heard of Father Abraham, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping you'd do.
Yeah. Father Abraham.
And I'm one of them, and so are you.
Oh, I haven't.
So let's all praise the Lord. Yeah.
And then so Jacob then had 12 sons, and one of those sons was Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Joseph was the dreamer. He was the one that had visions of his brothers and his family basically bowing down to him. Got them so mad, got the family so mad, except for his dad. His dad cherished it in his heart, but all the brothers hated Joseph, and basically made it look like he got killed by an animal.
Yeah.
Made it look like he got killed. He had this beautiful coat of many colors, and again, we could talk about. I love his story. We should talk about that sometime. But they threw him in a well, and then they ended up selling him to traders that took him off to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where the Israelite story and the history of our faith kind of touches in with Egyptian history, right? So they sell him off, and everything's looking really bad. But of course, God was with Joseph. God loved Joseph. He stayed with Joseph, and Joseph relied on God, and God rose Joseph up into the ranks of everywhere he was until he became literally the number 2 ruler in all of Egypt. I mean, number 2 most powerful person in literal ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
There's no other way that could happen. I wonder how.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. It's so amazing. And then so Joseph reconciled with his brothers, and then because of a big famine, the Jewish people, they came over or the Israelites, before they were called Israelites, really. I mean, they were Abraham's seed, but they came over into Egypt, and they lived, and they flourished, and they flourished, and they flourished, and flourished, and generations went, 400 years passed by, and now here we are at Exodus. This is where Exodus picks up. Is now you have Joseph's entire family tree blossomed into like 2 million to 4 million people living in Egypt, and become so great in number, that they've become a problem to the Pharaoh because
Yeah,
of
the
how mighty they
Pharaoh
are.
was afraid
Yeah.
they're gaining way too much power.
Yeah.
They had way too much people.
Yeah. Yes. And that's where the story picks up.
This is bringing me back to when I was actually learning it when I was younger too.
Mm. You know, we're in Exodus 1, verse 8. It says that then a new king who did not know about Joseph came to power in Egypt. And that is so striking because Joseph and his family literally saved Egypt from
Yeah.
these great
It
famines.
said that he did not know the history of Joseph.
Didn't know him. How quick can history just forget the past and what we can forget our past and what happened.
Oh yeah.
You know
I
this.
don't even remember what I did yesterday.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
It says the Israelites become too numerous for us. Come, we must deal with them shrewdly, the Egyptian says, or they will become even more numerous, and if war breaks out, we'll join our enemies and fight against us and leave the country. So they wanted to do whatever they could to make them miserable and enslave them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that brought upon their downfall.
I was gonna kind of go back a little bit, like what you were saying about forgetting, stuff. So there was a Mandela effect.
Mandela.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They
and
thought he died in prison, and it caused a whole bunch
there
of
was
stuff. Mandela?
so it was kind of like
Nelson
there was Fruit of
It's
the
a
Loom.
Hold on.
Yeah, so
My bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you good. So it was like a Fruit of the Loom, like it's like one of like the most popular ones, and it was about one of their logos, with like the fruit,
Cornucopia.
and well they removed what was
the
it?
cornucopia.
Cornucopia, yeah, and they tried to say, well, the one without it was the original one that they had, and then it was actually proven the government was actually just trying to, just test us to see if we could just forget about something like that.
Program us.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well,
Yeah.
there
Bro, that's
was
legit.
Yeah.
They probably do that a lot more than we realize too.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know
It's probably
that.
worth
there was
You
the
know
thing
that.
where they
It
tried
was
to
just,
do
it was just
about
crazy to
the, with drugs
I'm
and
looking it
yeah. So
trying to
it's
mind
just
control people
crazy.
with drugs.
Yeah.
That also.
Yeah, one of the most popular
MK
ones
Ultra.
was
Yeah,
Fruit of the
MK
Loom.
Ultra, that's what I'm talking about.
Finally, somebody else that knows about MK Ultra.
Yeah, that stuff is so
Do you know
fascinating
about it?
but
You know
bad.
about it, right?
MK Ultra. Go ahead and talk about it. I know about it, but
I
go
don't
ahead
have enough time to talk about it. It's,
They were trying to mind
MK Ultra.
Yeah.
It was
Wasn't that an experimenal?
Yeah,
after
they were
after World War II,
experimenting
or
with
maybe
drugs to
like
mind
kind
control
of like
people.
nearing the end of
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Supposedly, I mean, I'm not the most knowledgeable person, so I could be missing things.
Back in the 50s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like
Somewhere, yeah.
all these countries, including our country,
Around the 1960s
we're learning
or
how to
something like that, I
like
think.
trying to figure out how to mind control
Not
people.
really
Yeah,
sure.
right in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, right now.
And like they were doing all these like really inhumane tests on people, prisoners of war, and even like civilians. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of innocent people at play too. That a lot of people died, and they did a lot of different types of tests. Some involving drugs, as Zach said, and some other things. And it all came back inconclusive. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Like years down the road. And
Yes.
they pretty much erased all the whatever. But the thing is,
Some people.
I mean, like, well, look at it now. Like, soon later, all of this, like, internet starts coming out, phones start coming out,
Yeah.
like, all this stuff. And the world has never been more different, like, never made such a drastic change since that happened. And just think about it. Most people, they'll look something up on the internet, and they believe it right away.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
even
in a
the
heartbeat.
schooling systems, like we actually got like our whatever you call it schematic for the public school system from like Nazi scientists. We got their scientists, brought them over to our country, and we implemented their systems. And these people were practicing MK Ultra, like trying to figure out how to mind control people.
You know how crazy it is though. So like
They were so technologically.
we were basically
Yeah,
were taught that you have to go in a single file line, or
They
or
train
or,
us now
or,
how
or,
to
if,
be
or if you don't,
pretty much
then
robots.
yeah,
How to
you're
be obedient.
Yeah.
Where they used to
You have to
encourage
raise your hand
kids
to
think
ask a
freely,
question.
and
you
now
know.
now they teach us how to
Yeah.
listen to what we're told. We
They're
don't
supposed
get
to
think
tell
freely
you if
now.
you can go to the bathroom or not.
Yeah.
You know,
I got in trouble all the time.
You know what
for
I
my
tell them?
teacher
I'm like,
saying no,
I'm
and I was
going.
like, yeah, I'm going, man.
I'm going to the
It's,
bathroom.
I've raised
it's
my
either
hand
it's
3
going in
times,
my
never
hand, it's
can't
going
go.
on the
I'm like, I'm
going on the
going,
floor,
dude.
or it's going in the toilet.
I'm either going now.
All right.
You know.
We're getting off track.
Crazy.
Yeah, okay.
We are definitely getting off.
So just
Yeah,
to
you're
make
just
sure,
off track.
MK Ultra, I just want to say it was a Central Intelligence Agency project that was done with brainwashing, psychological torture, began in the 1953s. Supposedly stopped in 73. Who knows if it actually did? You know, maybe just changed the name. But they were using like psychoactive drugs like LSD, electroshock therapy, sexual abuse, whatever they could to break the mind and force them to do things that they wouldn't otherwise
That's
do.
kind of what the Nazis
Very
did
satanic,
to get
too.
the.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
They
again,
would
this
beat
is
them down to the point where they just couldn't fight back.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading up on that. That was terrible. I mean, imagine like being in their shoes.
Yeah. Oh, I remember
couldn't.
reading about this lady, who was like a survivor. She used to be like in those. She was like one of the people that were tested on. She has famous paintings that pretty much like portray these like people, and like some of them like supposed to be her, and it's like kind of like a portrait of her being like disassociative in those moments, like, and it would show like different things. It would show people all around, and like pretty much doing bad things, like whatever it be. And I don't know, it's like pretty much she like it. I read the story about her. It's like how it pretty much fragmented her mind.
Wow.
It's evil.
It is.
Yeah.
So, all right, moral of the story, there were some evil people in power, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And in the time of Egypt, okay, they wanted to break the spirit of the Israelite people, and the first thing they did was they wanted to kill their babies.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted them to kill their firstborn, the boys. And so if it's a
no
boy,
meeting
kill him, but
girls.
if it's a girl, let her live. And that's what they wanted to do. They trying to force them to kill babies
It's been a blood war from the start.
from the very beginning.
yeah. That's,
Trying to get rid of the bloodlines.
But they wouldn't do it until finally the Pharaoh gave an order to all his people.
Yeah, it was 2 servant girls. Where I remember he told them to do it, but they didn't.
Yeah, there were the midwives. They were supposed to have the
Yeah,
midwives were
midwives.
supposed to dispose the boys, but they wouldn't do it. So Pharaoh said, "Fine, I'm just giving a direct order to everyone. Every male that's born to the Israelites, you have to throw them into the Nile, but let every girl live."
And that's
So-
where we come to Moses.
That's where we come to Moses. It says, now a man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son, Moses. And she saw that he was a fine child, and she hid him for 3 months. But when she couldn't hide him any longer, she got a basket together, coated with tar and pitch, put the child in it, and put him in the Nile. And his sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. But then this is awesome. You know, here we got a Israelite child now going to be brought into the Pharaoh's family
Yeah.
His
itself.
daughter.
Yeah, it says, the Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe with her attendants. She saw the basket, sent a slave girl there. She opened it, saw the baby. He was crying. She felt sorry for the baby that's in the basket, and she took him home.
They ended up making
She said, "Can I keep
the
it?"
mother of Moses to watch the.
Yeah, she ended up getting, without knowing that it was Moses' mother, had
I
Moses'
thought that
mother
was so
come
cool.
and nurse Moses. So now Moses' mother got to be with him.
Task failed
Only God can
successfully.
do that.
Yeah,
That doesn't happen, man.
yeah.
That's
Something like
wild.
That don't happen.
Couldn't be a coincidence.
Mm.
It'd be a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So they nursed him, and she named him Moses, saying, "I drew him up out of the water." Is that not a foreshadow? I drew him up out of the water.
Mm-hmm. It also kind of like an imagery type thing. It's like we were pretty much bound to death. Like it's like we had no escape. It's like, and yet here God makes a way to bring us into His kingdom, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make us royalty with Him.
Yeah.
There's no other way, man.
So he grew up in kingship.
Yeah.
You know, he had servants and lived in a palace and all the food and all the luxuries of that lifestyle.
And yet he still cared for his people.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He wasn't
especially when he found
arrogant.
out that he was actually a Jew instead of a, and he, from what I can understand anyway.
Yeah, did he know at first
No.
that he was a Jew, or is that the proper term, a Jew, or was it?
Well,
Israelite?
they say Hebrew. Hebrew, not Jew, no.
Yeah, they called them
somebody
Hebrews
who
back
said
then.
Jew. I was like, no, I'm like, that's what I thought for a second.
Mm-hmm.
No, but yeah, or did he think he was Egyptian?
He knew.
He knew.
I mean, yeah, he definitely could feel
I
that
knew
he's-
he knew at one point. I just didn't know if he knew the whole time.
Yeah. It doesn't say when that happened, when he was told or when he found out, but it does go down because he saw a Hebrew being beaten on by an Egyptian.
And he
Yeah.
killed the Egyptian.
He killed
So
the
he
Egyptian.
That was
Didn't know
insane.
he
I
was
did
a
not
Hebrew.
know he ever killed someone.
Yeah, Moses killed
I
somebody.
only learned that recently.
That was the
Or
only
else
time, I
looking
think,
it
if
up,
I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
never
No.
taught that either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
he killed somebody.
And then a few days later, he saw two Hebrews fighting, and he says, "Brothers, why are you doing this?"
And he says, "Are
And
you gonna kill me like you killed that Egyptian?"
yeah,
And then the
He's like, "Wait a
Pharaoh
minute.
found out.
you know about that?
Yeah, I mean,
People
Yeah,
know
he
about
tried to
this?
hide it, didn't
the
he?
panic in his
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, and look, he was trying to save them, and here they are scared of him now.
yeah,
Like, man,
yeah." It says Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have become known." And when Pharaoh heard, he did. He tried to kill Moses, but what did Moses do?
Run away.
Ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lion King, run away and never return.
Hello?
Is that Piper? I think our daughter just came home, but that's okay. All right. Welcome home, Piper. All right. And so what happened next? So Moses flees Egypt.
He finds a. I think it says something about being next to a well, where he finds some shepherds,
Yes.
and he
right.
saves those girls. That girl or something from the shepherd. Two girls from the shepherd. The daughter of this. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
One guy. And then he marries one of the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah, he ended up Zipporah is who Moses married to, and because he saved them, and they're like, well, why did you leave him out there? Invite him in. Invite this Moses character in, and
They thought he was Egyptian at first.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And while this was all going on, it says that the king of Egypt had died that was there then,
Yeah.
and that the Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. And God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them. And that would be the end of chapter 2. So the Israelites were overburdened by all the slavery and all the work and his life, and what'd they do?
He said,
What-
see ya.
No, what did the Israelites do? Did they just take it, or did they do anything about it?
didn't they start trying to fight back, kind of?
No.
No, they
just took
they did what they were.
They complained and they
told to
cried
do.
out to God. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah.
I totally missed that.
Yeah. I mean, they cried out to God. What are we supposed to do if we're facing trial and hardship?
God.
Cry out to God.
Yeah.
You know.
He heard their prayer.
You know.
Mhm.
I like to think of the slavery of Egypt as our slavery to sin.
That's good.
You know.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. We're living in this lifestyle and we think it's great, we think it's good, but we become enslaved by it. And it ends up mastering our life, and it leaves us in a horrible position. Starts out great. Hey, we're in Egypt. We're hanging out. We got all this. We worshiping these gods. We're worshiping those gods of this land. You know, like materialism, right? Sex, money, drugs, pride in our accomplishment, trying to get famous, trying to be somebody, you know. But what happens eventually? It enslaves us.
Mm.
You get drowned in it.
Yeah.
He tries to
Yeah.
Sin gives birth to death.
Yeah. It eventually does.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
And so they realize this is not what we feel like we're made for. We're made for so much more than this.
Mm-hmm.
And the Israelites cried out to the Lord, help us. We need you. But isn't that how that happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're doing it your own way for so long, and you think it,
Yeah.
but then eventually you get what we call rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't see no wrong until you're like
Till
too
it
far
slaps you
gone,
in
I
the
guess.
face.
You know,
Yeah.
it's too far in it.
You know, I was watching a really, really cool, like a 30-minute documentary thing that was made on the Billy Graham. Like, it was like, probably, I think it was like the last documentary video that Billy Graham made before he passed. And there was two different stories they covered about, basically they're kind of similar. They're different, but they're similar in the sense that they rejected God, they ran from God, but then once they did that, they became depressed and suicidal. And they both stories are independent stories, but each one's a man, one's a woman. Once they rejected God completely out of their life and thought they were kind of, releasing themselves from Him, next thing you know, this depression and despair of life comes in.
Slave to themselves and the world.
Yeah. Left them in a real bad spot. Oh, that's not good. Oh, boy. A German Shepherd's on. Oh, no. Nope. No.
He wants to be a part of the
If he,
podcast.
oh, man. If he
Full
trips
set
over one of those
cord.
cords, that'd be really bad. If you just leave that on that view and kick him out. I like him, but he's a puppy and
He doesn't know.
he could ruin things quick.
Oh yeah.
As puppies do, right?
Yeah.
But mom got a puppy like a few months ago now.
Zach to the rescue.
And he chews on everything. Like he's literally eating part of the wall. I'm like, how do you even do that? He's chewing on the wall. Like a little corner part. It's like now it's down to the metal like that they have on the corners.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Talent.
She's like, he tears up everything and he pees everywhere. I'm like, yeah, you got a puppy, Mom.
They're gonna do stuff that you're not supposed to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, until they're taught, to.
They're
what to
just like
do.
a baby, a human
Yeah.
baby. You
Yeah.
got to teach them.
Except it can run faster.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember in this story too that they were in Egypt and they adopted that lifestyle and they got used to that lifestyle and they worshiped those gods, because this will come up later, because even Christians, when the Lord saves us, when He brings us out of the darkness into His light and we start living the Christian life, there's a part of us that at some point might try to return to that old life.
Mm-hmm.
What we might call backsliding.
Yeah.
And that's a theme that we'll see in Exodus as we continue at some point, depending on how far we get today. But it's one thing to take a person out of Egypt, but it's another thing to take Egypt out of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to put it right there. Yeah,
And
because
many
it's
struggle
like,
with that.
Jesus,
I think
he
we all
saved me
struggle with
from
that, trying to backslide, trying to push forward.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's plenty of times after I got saved, really turned to Christ, and I'm like, I'm gonna give you everything. It's like I did turn to Christ, and I still believed on Him, and I didn't give that up. But it's like to give up the old life, that was the hard part, and it was a long process of dying to my old self.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I was still I was all in for Jesus. I was like, I'm gonna do what it takes, but it was so hard to really give it up. It's like it's easy to say yes, I want to give it up, and I'll be praying to Him yes, I want to give this up. But then you get faced with that temptation, or in the moment, it's like, how do I do this? It feels impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You just have
Just
to
gotta pray.
persevere.
I just kept praying,
Iron will.
Yeah.
Crying out to
Did
God.
deliver me, 'cause I
Crying
set
out to
free
God.
all my old addictions, got none of it anymore.
Even Reagan,
Amen.
Reagan even sees me sometimes. I'll just I still have my dark sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
it's ingrained.
when you have that for so long, it's like you still got that sense of humor. It's like, well, you're so used to saying stuff to make people laugh, and but you probably just don't really know what you're saying, and it's
It doesn't
it's
feel
yeah,
dark to you because it's that's
right,
what
It's just so
it used to be made
Mhm.
made into light growing up.
yeah,
Yeah. But again, the Lord will change that over time. If you feel convicted, it'll change your heart, and that part of you may change. You might have light humor instead of dark humor. You know, it just might change a little bit. But
which very much is a thing, and it works just as well.
I got like some very dark humor. That's like the bad part about it. You know, it's like, how do I change this? You know, and I want to we'll change it soon. Obviously, I want this to be something that's not gonna just continue.
Yeah. Well, if you feel convicted about it, let's just take it from the Israelites. We cry out to God, Lord, help us, deliver us from this. We cannot do it on our own. And so that's what's awesome. That's exactly what they did. And then in chapter 3, it says, now Moses, and it's just cool too, because like, okay, here they are. The Israelites are crying out to God. They need help. We don't know what that's going to look like, But then it's like, no, Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, and so like, I just love how this is going on way over here in Egypt but he's over in the wilderness, and God's connecting the two, and it says, how
you going back?
then the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So he said, I'm going to go over there and check that out. Why did this bush burn up? I mean, that's what
crazy.
I would do that.
I would be like, oh, what's going on over here?
So what would be your thoughts if you saw a bush on fire that wasn't burning?
I wonder if I can
I would be fascinated.
Yeah, you're like,
behind it.
I'd be wondering what I ate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, man, what was in that spaghetti?
Somebody did something to me. I don't know what it was.
What was in that salad?
Awesome.
Yeah, they're in the desert. They might like.
It's like, can I feel fine?
Did they eat some of that those cow mushrooms or whatever it is? I'm tripping.
Some peyote cactus out in the desert.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not a normal day. Not a normal day.
No. But the craziest part is nothing was taken.
Yeah.
I'm taking my phone, start recording. Like, what's going on over here?
So, by the way, there's I don't know what it's called. I don't want to look it up, but there's always scientists are always trying to find some natural explanation for everything.
Oh yeah.
They're always trying to say, or the more liberal side of Christian theologians that want to like basically say like all these miracles can be explained completely naturally. I don't think so. This is supernatural, but they'll say that there's like bush in the desert and they gave it a name, and they tried saying, well, this is the bush that Moses saw, and they try to explain it. I'm like, no, it wasn't. What he saw was real. He really saw an angel of the Lord. He saw the Lord in that bush.
Yep.
Yeah.
They said it was like one of them trees or whatever, or bushes that had DMT like in its whatever. And I remember reading like there was people that actually did a test to see if this is what it was. They're like, this bush caught on fire and the fumes caused him to have like a psychedelic trip, and that's why he thought that. But the thing is people got like a bunch of these bushes or trees or whatever it was, put them all in like an area and burned them up, and it was like it still didn't have an effect.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, well, this has been written down for thousands of years, but you had a thought one day.
Yeah.
And this is that's how it actually happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah, it's like they didn't even have any proof for that either. They just like, no, I bet you this is how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is like the reason why they think that is like a lot of philosophers did a lot of opioids, which is what made them think so deeply about the universe and how things work. So like I understand where they're coming from, because like a lot of philosophers did a lot of hardcore stuff. So like I get where they're coming from, but
start asking different
some things you just can't explain.
Yeah.
Actually,
Why
different
that's
way
called
and stuff like that.
Especially in the
I wonder what colors
context.
taste like.
Yeah.
Not even on
Tastes
planet
like-
Earth anymore.
I hear sounds. I see colors. What's going on? You're like, you're supposed to.
All my
those.
senses are connected.
My senses are doing what they're supposed to do.
I taste
I
purple.
can smell what I hear.
Oh
Things
gosh.
like that.
So Moses is about to have an encounter with the living God, the creator of heaven and earth, the one that that made the covenant with Abraham, that Your children will be as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand of the sea. That was Abraham's promise. Remember, Abraham was given that covenant, that promise from God, because Abraham had faith in God. And again, that's another story, the whole story of Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
That, like, have you seen that movie, His Only Son? Or
his only son. No, I've not seen that one
That
yet.
is so cool.
And so here's what happens. Unless you had, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. So Moses went over to look, and God called to him from within the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And Moses says, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God.
He was ashamed of his sins.
Yeah,
That's what I took it as.
that he was ashamed of his sins. Yeah.
He murdered that man, and then he fled.
You gotta
Yeah.
think that was probably eating him up too. Like,
Yeah.
There's no
He
way
tried to
was just
save
happy
them,
about that.
and they pariahed him.
Mm,
He's
yes.
probably like sitting there like scared, like they're coming for
Like,
me.
am I in
someday.
trouble?
Like,
Like,
they're
God's
gonna run into
here.
me. Like probably has that hanging over his head.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders.
Yeah. It is.
Yes, it is. I love this, guys, what it says here. It says, The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. He's concerned about them.
Yeah.
Shows he cares.
That
He
was his
listens.
people. I mean,
Benevolent.
That's his heart. He loves his people.
Yeah.
When we suffer, God sees that, and he wants to save us.
mm-hmm.
And he will provide a way. He has provided a way.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's been through everything we've probably been through, honestly.
I mean,
I mean,
because
you
he is,
know, yeah.
we are a small part of him. So in a way, yes, he has went through everything any human has
Yeah.
ever been through. It's all part of him, because everything is a piece of a tiny piece of him.
Well, the Bible says that
His son,
Everything
you know,
is
Jesus,
him.
yeah.
Everything was created by him.
his son came down here.
So
He,
we
you know,
are a part of him.
he had to
To see
endure it
what
day in, day out.
real human
Mhm.
he was tempted just as we were tempted. He came in the flesh. God's son came in the flesh, Jesus, and was tempted just like we were, it says.
Yeah.
You know, he experienced suffering. He got hungry. He got
Yeah.
tired. He had loss. I mean, when Lazarus died,
Yeah.
when his friend Lazarus died, I mean, it says that he wept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was indignant, the Bible says. He was emotional about it.
Yeah.
When we suffer, he suffers.
Yeah.
If they think like if
It's
as
love.
Jesus is God incarnate, then he would be like he breathes like we breathe. He feels like we feel, cries, every emotion.
Yeah. Aches and pains, you know, everything you go through every day,
Yeah.
headaches, you know, everything like that.
My
He had to go
knees
through
hurt
it.
Today.
And Jesus didn't do it
Yeah,
all by
he had to go
himself.
through
He
it.
had his
Yeah.
mother, he had his disciples, he had everyone to help him. So he
I'm sure
wasn't
there's-
alone in this.
Yeah, I'm sure there's days he didn't want to get out
No,
of
he
bed.
was, but he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
You know.
He must have felt like lonely, like humans feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so then he says that he saw their suffering, so he came down to rescue them.
Yeah.
He came down to rescue them. So he not only had compassion for us and saw us in our suffering, but he comes to rescue us.
Mm-hmm.
And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring the people of the Israelites out of Egypt. So here he is enlisting a prophet, enlisting the great prophet Moses to go and be his mouthpiece, to go be his actionable representative on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he still does that today through us.
Before I seen the Exodus, I thought Moses was like brave, you know, gallant, like he like brave and stuff. But whenever I actually seen it, he wasn't like that. He was shy about talking.
In front
So
of people.
he got Aaron, or I forgot if that's
Yeah,
his name.
Yeah.
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron, he's a brother.
His
Yeah.
cousin.
Yeah, cousin.
Was it his
or something.
His brother, yeah.
Your brother.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
To
I thought it was his cousin.
speak for him. I
Yeah.
was like, I thought he was but then I learned he's just like us. He was just an everyday man.
Mm-hmm.
Made it feel more understandable, like from
More
his
relatable.
perspective. Yeah, more
Yeah.
relatable.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I understand. Like from his point, I used to be like that as well. I didn't like to talk because I thought no one wanted to hear me talk because like I was
Yeah,
just
right.
someone. I was just some person.
Yeah.
I wasn't important really. And then like Damien helped me out, like come out of my shell, and I feel heard.
Yes.
So
This is why I told you as soon as I was told about actually coming here and doing this, I was like, I think you would be great to actually come out
I'm
and
understood.
let you be heard. Everybody deserves to be heard. Or, everybody deserves their spotlight.
Oh
It's
yeah.
still really cool because you didn't even want to, like, you weren't even trying to, you were trying to go home that day.
Yeah.
And then
Who knows if
it
it
was
would have
just a
ever happened if you
coincidence.
did
He
go
forgot
home.
to stop at the house.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then he was like, you know
But
what? Let's just
that
go.
was the big
And
that
so
was
you
the
ended up
bigger
coming, and there
yeah.
you go.
And I
we
enjoyed
were
it.
all, we were all talking about this like
Yeah, sure, he forgot.
there was
If it
a
me, I would have
yeah,
forgot.
you
Yeah.
He forgot.
there was a bigger plan at
Mm.
at play that actually brought you here, and you decided to stay.
Amen.
Yeah, and I've learned to
Yeah.
enjoy reading and learning about the Bible. And
Yeah.
like before, I just thought, I
Holy
wouldn't like
Spirit
that.
brings it to life, man.
And then this
Yeah.
helped me bring it, like, make it understandable to my nature. It's actually incredibly interesting, and
Yes.
like I actually enjoyed myself. Like I just sat there. I was like, you know what? Since we're gonna be talking about it, I might as well learn it. I thought it's gonna be kind of boring, but then no, it hooked me right immediately. I enjoyed
the
myself.
church we used to go
That's
to,
great.
they made it feel like a chore.
Yeah.
So like yeah,
This makes it
they
fun
made
and
it like
entertaining.
feel like
Yeah.
Like, understandable.
Yeah.
yeah, they made it feel like something you wouldn't want to do.
Like they forced it upon you, but this,
Yeah.
it actually makes me want to read because it's like we get insightful, we learn things from it.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah, like I said,
It's
like going back
crazy.
to the point you made, God will take the weak things of the world, what the world will say is a weak thing, being someone that's nervous or someone that's shy or someone that has a speech impediment.
Insecurities.
Yeah, insecurities, and He will
Helps you
use.
feel heard and actually accepted.
Yes, He will use you for great and powerful things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what God does. He says He uses those things that are weak in this world to shame the wise. Those people that I have all the ability, I got all the talent. Look at me, I'm all powerful, and people that lord that power over others. But then scriptures, all throughout Scripture, He raises up that person, raises up that Moses to.
Yeah, Moses was just shy, insecure, felt lowly, and then He made him become His prophet. He built him up so he can help His people.
Yeah.
Yes, because he relied on God's power, not his own.
And it shows too because like he had thought he had like all of this on him, like he had all this guilt and everything, and God still chose to use him for something that changed the world. Like nothing would be the same.
Yeah, nothing.
If that
true.
didn't
We
happen.
wouldn't be here today if this
No.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you know
Because
that.
like a lot of people think you gotta be all perfect first before coming to Jesus, before coming to God, before crying out to Him. Like I'm not worthy to come to Him. Well, I'm glad you realize that none of us are worthy to come to Him. But guess what? It was freely given to us. We don't have to worry about
That's
being
right.
worthy.
that's right.
When
He
the
loves us.
Amen.
When the Lord was
Yeah.
talking to Moses, and Moses couldn't he was like, "Why would the king or
The
Pharaoh listen to me? I'm
Yeah.
just Moses." And he's like, "Then have Aaron talk for you."
Yeah,
And Aaron's a good speaker. He has a commanding presence,
mm-hmm.
and so he did have the staff turn into a snake for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're jumping ahead,
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's
I'm
okay.
just excited.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's okay. yeah, just for the listener's sake, I mean, some cool stuff happens with that
Yes.
staff, and
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
miracles are about to
Just
take place.
Turned from a walking stick into a staff of miracles.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well, how would you feel? I know you're in front of God, so you're already like kind of like, whoa, this is crazy.
like-
but
Yeah.
but then he was like, by the way, Zach or Damien, you're gonna go to Egypt and you're gonna tell
Yeah.
them to let 4 or 5 million people walk out.
I would feel
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
impossible
it's like-
task.
I'll
for
be
me.
like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, how am I supposed to? I'm just one man. How can I-
You want me to do what now?
yeah, like
Yeah. You know, could you I mean, how do you even get an audience with the Pharaoh? Like, I always wondered, did Moses just like
yeah.
just walk on up, like knock on the palace door or something? You know, like
So at this time, how old would you say he is at this time? Right, like as we're in the
Oh, he was-
as we're talking as of now.
From my knowledge, during all this, he was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. 80 years old.
Yeah,
80.
kind of set this picture like this old man
Yeah,
is
that was
going.
interesting. He doing
and-
all of this while
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
80 years
think
old.
about like your
That's why it
80-year-old
stuck with me.
grandpa. It's
Yeah.
Like
walking in there doing that.
even when you feel old and feeble, you can still change the
But
world.
he's having somebody that's older speak for him as well.
Yeah, his cousin or brother, I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's crazy.
that's like you
Wow.
helping me. You know, that's like
Yeah,
you're
right.
you're helping me as my younger brother speak for me because I was all shy and didn't really know
Yeah,
what to
introvert.
talk about.
I'm the extrovert.
And
Like,
you help me. You by talking to them, you give me a hand to talk in the
Yeah,
conversation.
even now sometimes I'll go to like McDonald's or something, and he'll be like, I'll like, hey, what do you want? And he'll tell me, and I'll be
Like,
like,
I would
you know,
always talk so
I'll
quiet
I'll
'cause,
I'll order for him because like, I can't say do it yourself because I'm like, well, not really comfortable just out there talking to people.
Yeah, I was all shy, and then he put it in a new perspective for me through help talking to through me. Like, I learned through that they're just a person as well. Like, what do I have to be shy about?
Yeah.
They're just a person.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Like,
you're
probably
here to
they're shy as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Right?
I used to.
You never know,
I used to
you know?
be
Yeah.
real shy too. I mean, like, not naturally though. I mean, it was through all the stuff I was getting
Yeah.
myself into, all the lies I told, and all the things I shouldn't have been doing, trying to
High
hide,
school really
and
did
also
it for
all
me.
the drugs I was messing
bullying
with.
and all that.
It's like alcohol. It's like proven, like alcohol, vaping, weed. It's like this stuff brings on problems you didn't know, you never asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anxiety for one, which
Mhm.
really
I had
affected me heavily for a little while.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I got to a point where I couldn't even, like, get a sentence out sometimes, even in front of some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I was just so worried about what I was going to say and whether it was going to
Just how
sound
would they
right.
react to me?
All these different thoughts going crazy in my head. Just like, it's
The
like,
mind is here in
insane.
slavery, bro.
Like, I like these
Yeah.
people,
Yeah,
but I don't
slavery.
know how
I
they
didn't have
feel
somebody
about
to
me.
speak for
Yeah.
me, but instead I prayed for boldness and courage, like, daily. After, like, finally giving all that up. Because
Yeah.
it didn't go, like, I didn't get all my courage right back the second I stopped smoking weed. It's like, I had
Took some
prayed
time.
for courage and boldness. That I still pray for it because, like, I want to be able to just walk up to strangers and, like, tell them about Jesus or pray for them. And I mean, like, I am more bold and courageous than I've ever been. Still much more work to go, but, you know.
Yeah, same.
It was actually crazy. Not trying to get too far off topic, but me and him went to Petco for crickets.
We saw Antonio yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
yeah,
Antonio's been on the podcast.
yeah. He was just walking, like he was just walking. Like, how we got to Petco? Like, I mean, this was not planned.
Lady.
Was not planned. Yes, yes. She was
Cool.
she was asking about tarantulas and stuff, but
It was so
yeah, he
weird.
just came
She
walking
seemed like
up.
She wasn't all the way there. She just like she starts walking in as we're walking in, and I was like taken off guard a little bit because she starts talking to us, and you can tell like a little bit different.
Mhm.
She might be on some stuff. Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you
good.
never
I'm glad you
know.
ran into him.
Yeah. She was really friendly. We got to talk to her and actually got the chance to pray for her.
We actually had to have Anteo come over. We made some food and
So waved
yeah,
us
we
down
actually
right after we got done.
had a little
He's
prayer
like,
session and stuff. It was really
Mhm.
cool.
We'll have to have him out.
He was actually able
I
to,
asked him
you
if
know,
he'd be able to come today, but
pray and hope he had a good recovery with everything he has going on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
It was
recovering from
awesome.
some health things.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
awesome.
Well, you're told to go to Egypt and tell the Pharaoh, let these people go. But who are you supposed to say sent you? Like, in whose authority are you going? That's what Moses thought. Like, okay, it says, God said, I'll be with you, and this will be a sign. I who have sent you, when you brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. But Moses said to God, okay, I'm going to go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. But they asked me, what is his name? What should I say? And God said to Moses,
I
yeah, I am. I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
The great I am. I am has sent you. Wow.
It's like, just think about it. You gotta like,
Yeah.
What is it?
you gotta sit there and think on that for a minute. Like, I am.
am
He's like
exactly.
everything that
Yeah.
ever was,
First
never
thing
will
came to
be.
my head when I read that.
Is
First time, I
me,
was like,
and like it's from me and is me. It's like
Everything.
everything good.
Yeah.
I just imagine just it's like movie scenes, like as you're talking about it, it's like pop your head,
it's like a
I
movie in my
am,
head.
it's like that's kind of what I think about sometimes. It's like
Yeah, it makes me think of ever present, always existing. I am. It's established. I am.
Yeah, because he's not like
Just
past tense,
am.
future
Mhm.
tense, or anything like that. It's like he's the
He's
same
present.
yesterday, today, and forever.
he's just like
But,
I am
that's literally
him.
because he's outside of time. He is the creator
He's
of time.
him.
So he's like
Yeah,
he is exactly what he was yesterday and way back thousands of years ago, as he is thousands of years in the future. It's like he is.
Mhm.
There is
He
no
am.
he will be and he was. It's just he is.
yeah,
That's so cool to think about.
Yeah, the way I take
Nothing
it
else
is
can take that
he
title.
is present. He's there, always.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Always there.
Truly omnipresent.
He's here right now.
And
Amen.
he's here with us in this room.
Well, like it says, where two or more are in my name, I am there with them.
Yep. But then he also says he'll be there with us in the secret place when we're alone.
It's true.
It's like, so he's
Sure.
always there with us.
In our
He doesn't
heart.
leave us. It's like he's there when we're by ourselves, and he's there when there's two or more gathered. He's trying to tell us something here.
Yeah.
It's always
In other words,
there.
he's there.
It's always there.
Always.
That's like I
There's
said
power in
earlier.
both things, you know.
Yeah.
I talk to him all day long.
Me too.
Heck, I ain't got nobody else to talk to.
Well, what am I, chopped liver? I'm just a ghost.
Well, what's awesome about this too is that it's, okay, so he's saying the great I am who I am. Now you got to realize this story was passed down through history.
Mhm.
This story, because we're just getting started. I mean, we're going to have to end here in a moment for this episode, but we're just getting started. This story has been passed through history, so all the Israelites knew this story about he had this encounter with the burning bush that said, I am who I am.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I would like to real quickly just transition now to show that in Jesus' time.
Yeah.
He had an encounter with some Pharisees, and he
Mhm.
said some stuff that got them really mad.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
They weren't
basically,
having it.
to them at the time, he's just some guy that came out of nowhere and says that you will follow me for God.
Yeah.
And they see him as an outsider trying to intrude.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just trying to help them. Trying to help everyone get rid of their sins.
Trying to save us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, in John chapter 8, starting in verse 47, he's having an argument back and forth with the religious Pharisees of the time. So now we're about 1,500 and some odd years into the future, past Moses. Okay, now we're at the time of Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
and he's on the earth. He's performing miracles. He's doing signs and wonders. He's teaching people. They're following Jesus. And the Pharisees, those are the religious leaders of the day, they were like getting kind of upset about it because people were following Jesus instead of them.
Yeah,
Right.
They liked the attention, but now they don't got it no more.
Yeah. So they were jealous. They were envious of it. And that's really sad because that still goes on today.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
people want power and prestige for themselves. They're not really. They make it look like they're worshiping God. They make it look like they're pointing to the Lord, but really, what they want is the attention themselves.
Yeah.
Some people genuinely start out that way too, and it's like they get corrupted over pride.
Yeah.
They're like, because
I want to know is with how with Jesus's rise, how long, how old was he at the time, and how long did all of this go on for? Like, what age was he when he died?
Great question. So they believe that he started his ministry around the age of 30, between 30 and 32, and his ministry lasted. Oh boy, I used to know this exactly. You know, it was like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
Yeah, it was like
but
only
long
3 or 4
enough
years.
to-
Yeah, I mean, he was passed by 36 years old. Is all along.
I
All the
thought it
older
was
he
at
lived.
least 28 or something.
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah, and so when he started his ministry, he was about 30 years old. Yeah, he could have been passed by the time he was 33, 34 years old.
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I'm not a
exactly.
theologian. I don't have all the answers, but you know,
Right.
these are things I remember, studying.
What
Yeah.
age was this around? What buildings did they have? I mean, did they have glass kind of stuff like that?
No.
'Cause I'm not exactly sure.
I don't
I need to
believe
look.
so.
I need to look more into it because I've
No,
heard
they-
stories.
they had
but
them,
I
like,
want to know
burlap
what their kind of technology.
Stuff up in
They
the
had the
windows.
stuff to make glass, but
You know,
did they know how to make glass?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Well,
good
probably
question,
natural
brother.
glass. Probably
No,
probably they
that's
had
true.
natural glass
Like if they had all the
like
stuff to make
from
metal,
lava and stuff.
maybe they found out how to make.
I mean,
glass.
the Colosseum was around. I mean, this is the ancient Roman time, so they were.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes that
that
helps
help a
me.
little?
Yeah, that helps me understand. Yeah.
So Jesus said the reason he's telling the Pharisees that
Sorry.
the reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. He said you can't hear what I'm saying. You're not receiving it because you don't belong to
You
God.
not understand me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine him saying that in front of, you got a crowd of people and then the Pharisees, and he's saying that.
That's humiliating. Then
Mhm.
Yeah, right. And
it's
he's
like a slap in the face.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be mad.
Who are you?
And the Jews answered him, "Aren't we right in saying that you are a Samaritan and demon possessed?" So they're saying, like, are we right in saying that you're not even a Jew and you have a demon?
That's basically what they're saying.
They would see him as a demon because he's just some guy with strange
They had to start
abilities,
Mysterious powers, yeah.
Yeah.
Accusations to kind
Like
of
what
discredit him.
witchcraft? Like they thought
Tried to.
the women that were smart were witches because a woman can't be smart to them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't know math. You're
Mhm.
not supposed to be smart. Only a man.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's evil.
Terrible.
Yeah, evil. And Jesus says, I am not possessed by a demon, but I honor my Father and you dishonor me. I am not seeking glory for myself, but there is one who seeks it, and he is the judge. I tell you the truth, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death. At this the Jews exclaimed, now we know that you are demon-possessed. Abraham died, and so did the prophets, yet you say that if anyone keeps your word, he will never taste death. Are you greater than our father Abraham? He died, and so did the prophets. Who do you think you are? So, I mean, they're really getting into it. And then here, I'm getting to something because it's going to tie into what we've just read. But Jesus goes on to basically say, if I glorify myself, it means nothing. My Father, who you claim as your God, is the one who glorifies me. Though you do not know him, I know him. If I said I did not, I would be a liar like you. So now he's calling him a liar.
Dang.
But I do know him and keep his word. I mean, this is where people say Jesus didn't offend people. He offended people.
Mhm.
I mean, he made them
Sure he
really
did.
mad because of the words he spoke.
Yeah. People don't like to hear the truth.
He would
man.
he
You
would
know?
tell them the
They don't
truth.
like
He,
they don't like to be told they're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
But
pride.
Man,
Yeah.
we're all wrong quite often as human beings. I'm just
to
gonna let
hit to
y'all
their
know
ego
that
to
right
be
now.
told
Yeah.
they're wrong.
I've been
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
a million times. So
Yep.
have you. So
Yep.
have we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, but it is.
It's it's hard for smart people to be told that they just did something dumb. Because to them, they're always told they're right. Because they're intelligent. So if you tell them they're wrong, they're going to be offended by it. And they thought they were all smart. They knew about their gods and stuff, and they're being told they were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
That's
like
right.
People don't like it when
It's
their
like, what you
reality
talking about?
beliefs are shaken.
People hate the truth.
Yeah.
They hate the truth.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the quote, they hated him because he told them the truth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, he said, but I do know him and keep his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, okay, Abraham that lived like 4,000 years ago saw my day and was glad. And so the Jews said, you're not even 50 years old and you've seen Abraham? Jesus says, I tell you the truth. Before Abraham was, I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom. He just literally says, I am.
He was
That's
always
so
there.
cool.
He always knew.
He's like, oh my.
Yeah.
Your minds.
Yeah. Like we were saying earlier.
The I am.
Jesus was God that came down.
Human incarnate, yeah.
Amen. The great I am, the I am presence of the time of Moses is now standing right in front of them in the flesh.
And they don't even realize it.
Wow. Yeah, because you know what they did? They picked up stones to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up stones to kill him for basically blasphemy. They wanted to kill him for saying that. But I love how it says, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. I'm like, did he just disappear?
Just
Basically.
like Moses.
Yeah, just because it says it walked through a crowd. Like a whole crowd wants to throw him off a cliff, and another one, and it says he just walked right through him.
And just like sneak 100. Just
Yeah.
100%.
He made himself a snake and he used
Yeah.
They're like
He
the snake.
just maxed out his stealth skill.
Yeah. So it's just wanted to kind of tie that in that in Jesus' day. I mean, he let him know who he was. I am.
Yeah, he didn't back down for nothing.
Mm-mm.
Man, now you're making me more excited to learn more.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot.
That's a good thing.
It's so fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And enjoyment.
You see,
Enjoying.
I do really
and
enjoy just like
sitting
breaking
around
it
like
down
this.
with people. It's like
Yeah,
it-
that's why I enjoy this. We share our ideas and we all just enjoy it. Like,
and we can come up with more than we can on our own.
yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
helps us.
We
Help
get
us
each
learn
other's
more.
perspectives.
Yeah,
because
we
we
learn
look
deeper.
at it a different way, dig to different
Help
levels.
each other gain enlightenment about what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Mhm.
We see something we didn't see before. Like, oh yeah, I just learned God, like Jesus, I mean, was just like any normal person at the time, but just more, like just more than just what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was enlightened, and he wanted to help everyone else become enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The reason I came was to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me.
Yeah.
Jesus. Everything in this book, this Bible, this 66 books, right,
Yeah.
is about him.
Mm-hmm.
All points to him. From Genesis 3:16 to the end of Revelations, all about Jesus.
Yeah. Wow.
That's why he's different than any character. He's not like a Buddha, not like a Hindu god or something like that. I mean, there's a lot more to him than what probably most people even understand.
With Jesus, you don't have to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
Oh,
but
welcome
Buddha
with
and all
open
these
arms.
other ones are
Yes.
scared to death of. To where?
That's because
Man, look.
Buddha, even though he'll turn his cheek, but if you hit him, like even Buddha has patience. But Jesus, he had
Super
incredible patience. He let them do what they did to him. He did not fight back.
They plucked his beard out. You know, they plucked his
that's
beard
right.
out.
That's
dude.
That's
You know,
right.
I mean,
And that crown of thorns.
He got punched in the face.
My arm hairs earlier today, and it was
You know
unbearable.
that.
Yeah.
I
Bro,
was on the
that
phone
was
with my mom.
terrible.
She was yelling at me. You made me think something was wrong. Like,
Yeah,
pulling my arm
yeah,
hairs.
Trust me, Mom.
I was
overreacting
messing
a
with.
little bit just for fun.
I admire Jesus' patience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Even,
were.
like, I'm a patient person, but like he can testify. Like, I mean, might not be able to hit hard, but I used to have a very bad temper. Like, if someone accidentally hit me, like it's instinct. Like, I punched him in the arm. He had a lot of patience. He didn't hit me back because he could have, and it would have hurt really bad.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
yeah, I
he
bet it
let
would.
me go, and I learned. Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. That was terrible of me.
Mm.
That's why I
Yeah.
stopped doing it after that day, because I learned no. Like he was a great brother. He didn't hit me back. He could have, but he
Yeah.
let it slide, And I learned, I shouldn't be doing that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Points for that.
Hey.
Hey now, let's not get violent.
He helped
You're-
me
That
learn my
that
lesson.
was a love
I
tap.
was hurting him, and he
Yeah.
wasn't hurting back. He
That was like an
instead of hitting me back, he just turned the other cheek. He showed me love instead of, and I apologized immediately. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
my
I'm
thing-
about to cry because
Mm.
he, his patience with me whenever I was being terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have anger issues
Yeah.
and stuff too.
I was
But
still in the
I
dumb
learned to-
state of
Yeah, I
teenager
learned to
Yeah, we do dumb
be
things.
better.
Yeah.
I got to
I
the
love you
point
too. You two
when
make me happy.
I would
Yeah.
get upset. Instead of going out and beating on somebody, I put holes in walls.
Oh man, I went
Yeah.
through phases. I used to do both.
I think like every boy does that at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Like punch a hole in a wall.
Because
I
they
did it
realize
on
that they
accident. I
can,
fell
and
down
they're
the-
like, oh,
Yeah, but
yeah.
the thing of it was, I always
This
I
had
fell
to
down
fix
one
it.
across.
Yeah.
No,
There's
it's
a
so
hole in the
stupid.
wall
Don't
at the
put
bottom of the
holes in
steps.
walls.
Yeah.
Don't put holes in walls. I did it. My knuckles have never been the same since. I'm sure enough.
Yeah.
There was concrete behind it.
This
and I
one
didn't
right
know
here.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Are
Hit
the
a
2x4s? They
You never
hurt.
know what could happen. Yeah, the 2x4.
I can feel it.
But also,
whenever I do
I had to
this.
fix that wall. And
I've heard.
That's the bad part. You gotta fix it after you get done.
it's
I-
so messy.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Well,
Punch holes in
my
the
son-
All
wall.
right. All right,
Yeah.
guys. I don't know what it sounds like when everyone talks at the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
You
I
know-
don't think anyone
Right.
heard me because it was muted.
Oh,
I
was
just
it?
realized that.
Yeah.
Oh, how long was it muted?
I don't know. I just realized.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I accidentally hit the top of it. I don't know when, but it was
I feel like I
this.
just saw it on.
I think
No,
it was.
yeah,
Probably
it was
just
just on.
accidentally tapped it.
It
then.
It was on, but you just,
Yeah.
the last time you
Let's
hit it
hope
by
so.
mistake,
Let's
I
hope
guess.
so.
Yeah,
Um,
let's hope.
No,
we,
no, no.
So
'cause
closing
you guys had
thoughts.
the same-
Closing thoughts. Anybody before
same
we go?
color of yours.
Any closing thoughts before we go?
Number one, I want to thank these young men.
And I want to thank
Well,
you
thank
for
you.
sharing.
Yeah, I
your
wanna thank you for
experience.
sharing.
You came
Yeah.
here and decide like you got pretty vulnerable. It's not easy
Yeah.
to do that, but man,
You
Yeah.
opened up to
Your
us, and
story's
we opened
still-
up to you.
got an impact.
Yeah.
Talking about the previous episode with his testimony,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the same episode.
We did
I'm
two
gonna
recording
sit
in
here
one
for
night.
a long time.
Yeah, we did 2 episodes
Yeah.
tonight, so yeah.
No, we
It's
just like
good to
let it
hear
sink.
you guys
Yeah.
talk about the Bible because you don't hear young men talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
I never talked about the Bible when I was their age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Yeah.
glad I grew up around like good people, and they helped me learn that you don't need to do drinking and partying to have a good time. You can just do this: sit around, talk about our opinions,
Yeah.
learn more about the Bible, like talk about it, and
Mhm.
Talk about life. Just be honest and
learn
vulnerable.
more through
Yeah.
it. Learn how to
Amen.
It's
experience
not like
life.
a
Yeah.
test where you
You
gotta
know-
have everything right either. It's like we kind of like it was like no, we can correct each other with grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
'Cause
there's,
I'm like, yeah, here I was thinking like Aaron was
Yeah.
Moses' cousin. How long did I think that? Probably a really
I never
long
even knew
time.
he existed until
Luckily,
recently.
it's not super important. But, you know,
there's
All I
a
knew was
lot, you know,
Moses.
like
I mean, you're making me
uh,
like question myself. Keep talking. We got okay.
Yeah.
there's a lot that
whether it
I
is his cousin.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I
Keep
don't know.
going.
I thought they were
Yeah.
brothers.
They're brothers.
Are they
Yeah,
brothers?
they're brothers.
Okay, I'm like,
It's like, it could go either way, man.
yeah.
all right.
Even if it was his cousin, it was
There's
probably
a lot,
his
you know, I say as well.
Wasn't
you know,
there a guy that
like
married his
me and Reagan
brother's
have like
father's
related on
sister?
because we were both there. So,
In
but
the Levy tribe.
like I was doing a lot of bad stuff with Reagan, you know,
Levi.
drugs,
Levi.
drinking,
Sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
Anime.
you know,
got
staying
me.
out late.
Yeah, guys.
You know,
Stop for a
it's
second.
everything,
Yeah.
you know, that our parents wouldn't want us to do. And
We had.
I
we had
just-
good parents.
one day I
Supposed to
just-
do, we did.
just stopped doing everything, and I
My
think it
mom
was
did
kind
her
of
best.
a wake up call, you know.
yeah. Well, I'm being told that we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
So, would anyone like to close us in prayer?
No.
I'm not doing it this
I
time.
can do it.
Okay.
I don't know why it took me a second to even register what you said. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can pray. That's
So
cool.
focused.
All right. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, for bringing us here tonight and for just using us in ways that we could have never seen for ourselves. You brought us out of the darkness to help show people your light. None of us are here by our own doing. Like, we couldn't have brought ourselves to a place like this on our own. Everything is by you. We couldn't have even found you if you didn't
Yes,
show
Lord.
yourself to us.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
And
Yes,
it's all
Lord.
by your goodness and your kindness and your love. Like, you're so good, God. You blessed every single one of us with each other and with your love. And I'm so thankful. I pray that this podcast reaches the people that it's supposed to reach. I don't care if it ever reaches 1,000 people, if it just touches the hearts that it's supposed to
Yes,
touch.
Lord.
Yes.
But I pray that it impacts what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
Like, I know that you have a purpose for every single person's life in this room and everybody outside of this room. Everybody who listens to this. It's like you have a purpose. God is seeking you out as he sought all of us out.
Mm-hmm.
It is. He is the answer to everything. You are the answer to everything, God. And I'm so thankful for you bringing us here today. And I pray that you just lead us into more and more of your plan for our lives. And give us the strength and the boldness and the courage to go through with it. In your name I pray. Amen.
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 I'd also like to thank Jeremiah and you for helping opening our eyes and bringing us here together. For, like, because without you guys, we'd probably be doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And getting in trouble and probably hurting our future selves
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
knowing to.
Yeah.
And thank you, Reagan, for helping bring us together as well.
It was all God,
And,
man.
yeah, you invited
Yeah.
There you go.
Because he brought
There you
me
go.
here.
And I'd
Yeah.
like to
So
thank
good.
you, Damien,
He
for
brought you here.
helping bring me
I was
out of my
just
shell.
a means
Yeah.
to an end.
We got more to go, guys. A lot
There you
more to
go.
go.